Tutto dovrebbe sembrare naturale, tutto dovrebbe sembrare creativo e spontaneo. Tutti i successi invece richiedono
programming, dedication. If you watch That's It, last Michael Jackson film, he repeated the steps 350 times in order to repeat exactly the same step. You represent creativity, but creativity needs to be fueled with passion and dedication. I would like to introduce you the three speakers.
Katy Segatti.
Io parlo in italiano.
Katy Segatti, I introduced her before as a sponsor of this initiative. She's my real boss, member of the board of Polo Tecnologico, and lover of making something concrete. Please.
Allora, non è vero che sono il tuo boss.
Your boss, I would like to start with a sentence that Franco used to write in his emails. This is not his own sentence. He took it from, it's a quotation from Charles Kettling, and it says, all human development needs to be outside the rules, outside the box, otherwise we will not have anything new. I think this is the most appropriate sentence for such a day, because we do speak of human development, and in this day, through the challenge that you're going to tackle, you will contribute to human development on the technology development, technology innovation, and the social innovation. Today, you're going to tackle the subject of loneliness and the way technology can fight loneliness, which is a very appropriate subject nowadays. The other aspect I like of this sentence is that innovation needs to go behind rules, out of the box, and think this is important. Regione Friuli Venezia Giulia is the best rule maker, and in this sense we did write a specific law on aging and loneliness, and we suggest a number of actions in order to address this subject with civil engagement, cultural engagement. So we did define through the rules the way we can tackle this issue. Today, you will break the rules somehow. This is what you are asked, trying to be creative, innovative behind the rules. And the results you will produce will be presented tomorrow. So I wish you a successful working day. I hope this is the first of many initiatives, the first of these urban centers that was been recently opened. And I wish, Franco, that this is going to be the first of a long series of successful similar events. I would like to thank Polo Tecnologico of the Northern Adriatic, which is the organizer of the event. I would like to thank the Association AAL and the organizers, and especially you, boys and girls, who are participating in this initiative. Thank you. I wish you successful work and have fun.
Grazie, grazie. From a person of the bureaucracy, because Kathy comes from order, procedure, and bureaucracy, telling us that we have to stay outside rules. It's easier recorded, right? probably you will have somebody disappointed, but all of us, we will be happy. Elena Curtopassi from Veneto. You are coming from?
Veneto, Venezia, ma adesso da Bruxelles, in questo momento.
Social Policy Department of the Brussels office. Thank you very much for being here. Your message.
Grazie a voi. Buongiorno a tutti. Good morning to all. It's really a pleasure for me to be here, a privilege and an honor. First of all, I would like really to congratulate and thank the Polo Tecnologico di Pordenone, Alto Adriatico di Pordenone, for this wonderful and exciting initiative. I think it's just great to be able to collaborate with Friuli Venezia Giulia and to also to put the stress on family policies. Thank you also to your funding. I was very much struck because of this participative approach that you have during this hackathon, because you have members of civil society, students, public and private authorities, social carers, students. So it's really a most challenging approach. And so I'm very happy to be here and to reflect together with all of you about the importance of active and healthy aging. I'm also very happy because here in this room, we have two very good partners, valuable experts from Rotterdam. We have Prof. Heinrad from the Erasmus Medical Center of Rotterdam, leader of very prominent projects in the field of health and social care. And we have Anthony Polychronakis from the city of Rotterdam, also a partner in one of the networks that you see, you know, the ENSA, European Network of Social Authorities. So we wish to exchange all these experiences with you. So, and also the Council of Europe. So just very, very quickly, some trends about Europe and about Veneto. So first of all, well, the aging processes and the demographic trend give a very specific and great stress on all health and social care services, with consistent challenges for the responsiveness of the welfare care system. So here we have a comparison about the trend in Europe. So we see a drastic increase of 57.1%, so 12 million people over 80 years in Europe. And if we compare it to the trend in Veneto, which has almost 5 million people, well, 20.7% are over the age of 65. And the cities which have the percentage of more than 65 are Belluno, Venice, and Rovigo. So it means for all of you young people, 155 older adults for every 100 young people. So this is why I heard about this very, very good law and advanced law that you have on loneliness. So this is fantastic. And in Veneto, we want to share this exchange with you because we have also a law on active aging from 2017, and we just approved a 3 years plan on the active role of elderly people. So this plan has been funded with 1 million per year, and it involves more or less 1,140,000 people from the Veneto region, representing 23% of the population. And we see, we noticed, just to the comparison and to see what we can focus on, that 7 out of 10 are in good health and live independently, and so are an active resource and can contribute to society. This is why we thought about the 3 guidelines, and we can compare and exchange and build together. So health and independent living, active participation, lifelong learning. And this is implemented through a permanent working group made in a circular way with social and health services, with elderly persons, with the training sectors, and with representative of young people to exchange about the possible need and responses. So the fields of action, you will see, I will be just quickly. And so for health and independent living, you have healthy lifestyles, just to enhance the quality of life and the prevention of diseases, active participation, active role of seniors in society, with an intergenerational approach and an approach towards the inclusion of marginalized people, and lifelong learning with what happens with COVID and also the digital gap. So the conclusions, I will just go through the conclusions. So let's say that the plan brought 142 projects in the Veneto region, more or less 4.2 million euros. And if we see the projections, we will see that between 2015 and 2065, the over 65 will represent 31% of the global population. So let's more than ever focus on a productive opportunity for society. And we believe that your law and the law that we worked on could be successful examples of subsidiarity and multi-level governance. So I wish you really all the best to take up the challenge. I'm looking forward to the conclusion and to use the results that you will produce within our common platforms within Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, and Veneto region, focusing also on green, digital, innovative, technical, and organizational solution, leaving no one behind. So you see, once generation opportunity, and thanks again to Polo Alto Adriatico di Pordenone, and I want to list just the referee, so who have collaborated and supporting your initiative. So you have Manuela Lanzarin, who is the Regional Minister for Social and Health Services, Giuseppe Gagni, who is the Director of Social Services Unit for Older People, Annalisa Bisson, Giulia Bertato, and Annalisa Bisson is responsible for international affairs. So the rest of the slides are white to build projects together. So thank you very much.
You notice how Elena lost his Venetian accent. You didn't say something important. You gave some messages, but I want to come to the truth. Aging is a much more favorable condition than not. It's clear. So I wish you to get old, as I'm happy to get old. And now we come to some messages for what you have to work. The condition is to age, to get old, happy, healthy, not alone, mixing activity. Don't be shy to be over 70. disgusting. I'm not shy. And if somebody is asking me, what's your age? I say 24. No, it makes no sense. But I had 24 and I did not give up. So I'm still keeping 24, also 40, also 50. Because capitalizing the expertise is not bad. Marco, operational manager of the ambient assisted living. Something that you have to work on is they are happy and healthy over 65. There are some person, even if temporarily unhappy. Ciao, cosa ti è successo te che tieni stampelle?
Sono fatto la caviglia in montagna.
Vedi, he was happy and now he needs a technical. Vabbè, ce ne hai per 10 giorni, penso ancora. Vabbè. But by the way, there are persons, because aging is a good and favorable condition, but what you do to make happy and healthy in ambient assisted living, please?
Thank you very much. Actually, we try to do quite a lot. Basically, I'm Marco Carulli. I am Program Operations Manager at the Central Management Unit of the AAL program. I'm based in Brussels, but I'm from Trieste. So I'm really happy to be here today with you, and very happy to see that the approach which has been taken in order to carry out this 1 day and a half event is going to involve not only geeks or technological people, hackers, but also representatives from the civil society. This is something that we really strive for by funding our projects, that is the involvement of all the stakeholders involved in the testing, development, deployment, but also commercialization of ICT for aging well products. Very briefly, the AAL program has issued so far 15 calls for proposals. 2021 has been just evaluated, and every year basically we publish a call for proposal worth about 20 to 25 million euros, by which we select successful project ideas dealing with technological solutions for an active and healthy aging. We have two main specificities in our program. That is, the projects that we fund have a quite advanced technology readiness level. We expect our projects to have a time to market which is quite short, 2 to 3 years after the completion of the project. Is very challenging, I can tell you, but yet it is something which should push really our consortia to deliver in time and to basically sell in time. But at the same time, as I said, we also push for a strong co-design and co-design approach, where it's not only the technical people working on software, on sensors, on whatever type of technology, but also the end users who should be involved in the development of these solutions. In particular, we have 3 types of end users that we consider in the program, the so-called primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary end users are the older adults themselves, the elderly. We don't have really a specific age range in which we operate, but generally is from the early retirement on, that is from 60 on, if you want. And then we have the secondary end users, who play a very, very key role, important role in the development and adoption of technological solutions for aging well, who are basically the formal or informal carers, that is the medical staff, nurses, doctors, or families, neighbors, all those who are close to the primary end users. And then the third type of end users, who are the tertiaries, indeed, who are the deployers, the adopters of our solutions. They can be regional agencies, networks of hospitals, or even insurances. Just to give you a quick feedback on the main outcomes or main learnings, I would say, from the program after 14 years of funding projects in this field, there are indeed some application areas which have shown to be more successful than others. Home environments is one of them. You know that health and care systems today in Europe are struggling in order to keep older adults living as long as possible at their home. But also health in general, of course, health care and telemedicine, but also isolation and communication. I know that today's hackathon is going to be focused right on this challenge, that is how to keep our older adults active, connected to their beloved ones, but also to those who take care of them, especially in such a hard moment as the one we're going through in this COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, we have discovered that it's not just a matter of having technological people and users working together, developing a prototype, testing it, and then selling it. That's not enough, of course. There are also some aspects which, on the one side, are probably more typical of the digital transformation effects, like, for example, everything which comes to ethics. There's a lot of talking about artificial intelligence, about machine learning, IoT, 5G, or other, let's say, sexy technologies which are being developed in these days, but also in terms of practical and organizational terms, like, for example, the need to involve the right stakeholders in the right ecosystem right from the start. I think it has been mentioned about rules, regulations. This is indeed yet a big obstacle to the correct deployment of AAL solutions. And this is why we don't only need public authorities, but we also need regulatory authorities to ease up the implications dictated by standards and interoperability aspects, for example. I'm not going to be much longer. We have been funding or sponsoring in the past other hackathons. I know it's going to be a quite intense period for you, a quite intense weekend. I invite you to learn as much as possible from each other, to really brainstorm, share experiences, share ideas. I won't have a mentoring role this time, but I'm sure that you will be able to develop very, very nice ideas, and I will be there to also to witness and to assist to what we are going to develop. For your information, we are going probably to use a lot your laptops, the network. Have a look at our program website, which is aal-europe.eu. And when it comes to co-creation with end users, when it comes to technical aspects like standards and interoperability, but also when it comes, for example, to commercialization, a key aspect, at least for our program, have a look there and get inspired from our projects and the documents that we have published. And last but not least, this hackathon, which is, this event, which has been organized indeed with the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region, which is one of the founding members of our association, the region committing every year a given amount of time for regional beneficiaries in our program. This hackathon has been organized as a sort of a kick-off event of the upcoming European Week for Active and Healthy Aging, which is going to be kicked off next Monday and will last until Thursday next year, where there will be plenty of discussions, workshops on disruptive technologies, on artificial intelligence, on the importance of ecosystems, regulatory aspects, so further so on. It's going to be completely online for free. If you're interested into active and healthy aging through digital technologies, have a look at that online event. It might be interesting for you. Thank you.
Grazie. Marco will follow today, and definitely tomorrow you can cherry up some ideas, because why not to move from their ideas into something concrete, because we said technology is available and creativity is here.
Definitely.
All kind of creativity can be a good help to active aging. Thank you for giving us also suggestion. He said that artificial intelligence is a sexy technology. I don't know. We will discover later on how sexy it is. I suppose it was no sex in artificial intelligence, but this is a joke. We move to the second part, and we have guests online. So thank you very much. I am asking you to free the seats. Valentina, are you somewhere? Valentina Togero. She is the founder and director of Wise Angle. Is a different perspective, probably. Wise Angle, she will tell us, at International Project, director of each Alliance Online. I ask if she's online.
Yes, can you hear me?
The message we will have in the next two speakers refers to how. Valentina, there you are.
Hello.
Beautiful smile. You are not aging at all. I mean, you.
I am.
But without any sign. Thank you very much for your contribute. The floor is yours. Go.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I hope you can hear me well. Okay, so
Lips lecture.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Start again.
Okay, can you hear me well? I can hear you perfectly. Yes. I can see that. Yes, of course. I hear you very well.
While we check, hi. Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you very much. You speak triestino?
Italiano.
Italiano? Vabbè. Parli in italiano?
Un poco.
Grazie di essere con noi. Hein Rach, Professor of Public Health. Newborn.
Yeah, I will explain.
Because this is a very restricted newborn, there are not so many.
I will explain.
Children and adolescents. Thank you very much. I go back to Valentina if you can hear her. Floor is yours, and then I get back. Okay. You have 10 minutes.
I can hear you very well.
Sit down.
Okay.
Ladies first. We are already in the day.
Sorry, I was hearing everything perfectly. Okay, so maybe I can start.
Go.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. As a research innovation manager, I'm very happy, I have to say, to be here because I'm passionate about the use of technologies to improve quality of life. And I'm really honored to opening this training session. I don't know if there is some way I can avoid the echo. Or let's see. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I will try to give some background information and some concept to set the scene, so we can go to the next slide. Although it's always quite difficult and there is a lively debate around definitions, I would like to start with a very nice infographic which has been developed by the Works Wellbeing Institute to just set some basic concepts around this important topic we decided to address today. So, what is social isolation and what is loneliness? First of all, there is a very important difference between the subjective, so self-reported component of loneliness and the objective one. While we could, of course, try to measure, and the European Commission has started to develop some indicator about the quantitative decrease of social relationships, social networking opportunity that people can experience. For instance, a recent report from the Joint Research Center has identified as socially isolated people that are meeting with their friends, relatives and colleagues outside work obligations, let's say, for once at a month or less. On the contrary, loneliness is a subjective experience and it's composed by several qualitative and quantitative aspects of this deficit in having social ties, durable and satisfactory social life. And in turn, it could be also more granularly described by free typology. We can talk about social, emotional, and existential loneliness. So social, again, is more connected to the lack of this satisfactory type of relationships. Emotional is something more related to the loss of meaningful sense of belonging and intimacy with somebody loved, for instance, the absence of a partner. And existential loneliness is often linked to traumatic experiences, and it's something that, for instance, characterize cancer survivorship experience. Next slide, please. So said everything we tried to state before, we still can identify several forms where as loneliness appears, and it could be framed as a transient phenomenon, so something that involves only occasional feelings of loneliness, situational, so something that is depending on specific events of life. It could be even moving to a new place, or chronic loneliness. And chronic loneliness, is maybe the phenomenon that entails the most critical, the most negative consequence in terms of public health and require intervention and solutions, creative solutions and innovative solutions such as the ones we are developing today. You can see in this picture a very nice photograph by the Pulitzer Prize, Emilio Morenati, who has been awarded because of his amazing work in depicting the loneliness during pandemic time. And we might be inclined to describe the loneliness provoked by containment measure during COVID-19 as something that would be hopefully transient, but we have to be very cautious to underestimate those concerns that more than 1 year in reduced in-person contacts can result actually in chronic loneliness status. Let's go ahead to the next slide to see what are the key determinants then of loneliness that you might want to take into account in these 2 days while developing your solution. And any study, any report that you can find on this topic, you will see that at the top of the ranking of factors and determinants, we will always find low socioeconomic conditions, for instance, unemployment, and poor health and disability factors. But of course, this is not enough to describe this very complex range of individual, societal, and also community and system level factors that put people at risk of isolation. So also the living arrangement, the fact of living alone or being divorced, the quality of the services that community and the public authorities are offering us in terms of leisure and amenities, and also the feeling of living in spaces that are not safe and secure enough to encourage social interaction. So there's really a range of very varied factors to take into account. Next, please. What are the health and well-being impacts that we need to tackle? There is consistent evidence that is linking social isolation and loneliness to worse health outcomes, such as cardiovascular diseases. So the risk, for instance, to suffer from a stroke, mental health outcomes, of course, depression, anxiety, but also it has been, for instance, recently demonstrated that loneliness is a strong predictor of cognitive decline. So overall, it's completely evident that this is a public health issue, a public health priority. And just in the next slides, very quick overview of another interesting categorization of the impacts on health and healthcare systems that has been offered by the WHO in their recent advocacy brief following the initiative of the Decade of Healthy Aging that is running right now and will last until 2030. So you might want to check some of the reference also at the end of my presentation, which I know is pretty rich. Next, please. So as for reference, I also wanted to leave you with some data. Is it really a pan-European challenge? And is it true, this rhetoric that we are listening much more frequently recently? So this is an epidemic, and this statement is empirically grounded. Actually, evidence suggests yes. We saw that from the comparison between surveys run before and after the pandemic by the European Commission, there has been an increase from an average of 12% of EU citizens indicating that they were feeling lonely to an average of 25%. And this increase is sharply impacting all age ranges, which is something very interesting. Also in terms of gender, is impacting almost equally male and female. So another element to take into account. Next, please. So what is about strategies? Of course, technology is important. Marco stressed also that technology is not enough per se. Technology is an enabler of strategies that we need to develop together. And the WHO has identified very interesting categorization of the typologies of strategies we can address at the individual level. So one-to-one programs, cognitive therapies, etc., but also at community level and societal level, where multi-stakeholder engagement and an ecosystem approach is even far more important. Next, please. There's so many policies, programs, and projects that it would take a day to enumerate all of them. Of course, the regional laws that you have described in your own region are an outmost examples. You might have read in newspapers that in some countries, also at national level, important initiatives have been taken. UK and Japan have appointed a minister of loneliness. I just picked here some examples of news in the media or European projects, programs run by NGOs and first sector organizations, just to demonstrate the variety of initiatives. The robot in the newspaper article is a robot that has been tested in Barcelona in few houses, and it worked so well that the Barcelona City Council decided to deploy it at larger scale. And we can read the statement in Spanish from one of the 83-year-old user who stated that she was missing a lot the robot when it was no longer at home, because finally she had somebody to have a conversation with. And then, of course,
Valentina, you have to push it to the end.
What is overall the message? There are several programs. There is still a lot of effort to be done to increment effectiveness and measure effectiveness. So everything we can do to rethink the metrics, to measure the experience of loneliness, the trajectory of loneliness that can change across the lifelong course of a person. Try to understand that all programs that have tried to put in place a one-size-fits-all approach didn't work. So experts are now suggesting more and more a personalized health approach also to tackle loneliness, trying to shift from treatment to prevention with a more proactive systems that is not only reactive to situations, try to anticipate them, focusing on individual needs, and this account for all the factors that we tried to discuss briefly before. And one maybe of the most important factors to take into account in your development these 2 days is the digital divide, the large portion of elder population that still do not have access to digital tools or do not know how to use digital tools. We need bold political actions, but we need also creative solutions to tackle digital divide. And
last message, Valentina, last message.
That in many cases, loneliness tackling initiatives are having a short-term effect, so they are actually succeeding in getting people more satisfied temporarily and happier, but then they are not helping creating any long-term and deeper social interaction. So maybe try to reflect on how to make those ties, those relationships more durable, so they create a safety network for elder people to live a satisfactory life in their homes, but also in the public space.
Valentina,
Thank you very much.
if you want the applause, you must close. Applause for Valentina. It's up to me to close the speaker, but Valentina, did you finish or not? You have the very, very last message. Did you finish? A second applause for Valentina, thank you. Hi, floor is yours. Coming from Rotterdam, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I come yesterday in the night. I arrived with Elena Koutapassi and Anthony Polychronakis in the night in Trieste. I'm very happy to be here. I feel the energy of this hackathon, and I like to talk about the Value Care project. And this is maybe an example for this weekend, but we would also be your client. In Value Care, we want to use the results of this weekend.
This strong message. Yeah. You are old enough to test all the prototypes.
Yeah. Can I change to the next slide, please? Okay. Oh, I can do it myself. Yeah. Well, I'm from child health, and so I started with young people. But working with young people and families in poverty or in need, we see that all complicated questions in care have the same approach. So we use our experience with families in poverty and families in need to help older people and having better care. So we see many problems in society, like climate crisis or crisis in care. They are across generations. And we need all generations to solve the problems in our society. And also we see things like environment is important for young people, but also for older people. Self-management is the healthy lifestyle, but also being active in your own life is for young people, but equally for older people. Social inclusion is important for everybody. So we bring young people and older people together. The best possible care is integrated care, and it's for the whole society. Value care, the goal is to have integrated care for older people, and with the help of large-scale implementation of information technology. And we want to improve the quality of life, not only of the older people, also of the family members, of the people who take care, who are joining them in the group and in families, and also the professionals in social and healthcare. We often forget them, but they are the people who care for us, and we also have to give care to them back. So the care nowadays is complex. We have high technology care and very basic care in the home, hospital, home. It all needs to be connected. And ICT, information technology, can help. We do. So value-based healthcare means we do not only offer services, we talk with the patients, with the older people, what do they need? And what are your values? And our care is there to increase your values. So we also measure the values, so we address the values of the older people, of the patients. So, and this is like a revolution in the field of care. So value care, 8 countries are working together. We need each other. Also Italy and Veneto region is in this project, and we get inspiration from each other. It's not only what we do, but also how we do it. What is our process? And involving all the stakeholders, older people, younger people, but also the professionals, and talk together about the solutions. And I think it's the same what is happening here in Trieste this weekend in the hackathon. We started the process of co-creation, and you see here the flow chart. So we have to find the people and connect to them. It was really difficult in the times of the lockdown and the pandemic. We need to find the topics how to discuss, because we find that value care, values, it's a very abstract. So it's like intellectual, but we try to connect to the people and find out what are their real needs and how can we solve it, how can we address it. So in the first round, we had more than 300 people engaged, often online. So all the people, younger people, they meet online. And also we have special platforms trying out how this works. And it seems to work. But also we have face-to-face meetings, which is giving even better energy. We apply a DART model, so we analyze what is in the dialogue and how is the access. And then information technology, all the people, many people think they don't know it, they have no experience, because the younger people grow up with this. But this is the challenge in our project, to help them, to talk with them, to sit with them together and give extra assistance. So some points we find in the first round of co-design is that older people, they don't want the computer replace the human being, but they want it extra, they want it additional. So routine matters, and some matters can be done with an app or with a computer, and then the social care provider or the doctor or the nurse has more time to have an in-person discussion with the patient and find out what really matters to the patient. So again, value care is addressing the problem of integrated care for older people, because, well, getting older is good, but you also may need care, but you want to stay in your own home. And we need to get the care from the hospital to the home and ask the people, what do you need most? And also measure this. And we also want to use the information technology in the best possible way. Loneliness and social inclusion is a basic value for everybody in society. So again, we would like to learn from this hackathon, and please come to us and we will discuss the results of this hackathon in the Value Care project. Thank you very much.
You stay in the... All together, down to them. Uno, due, tre. Another speaker from Rotterdam. Where is? No, we move to station B now. And we discuss about connection, the experiences of connection with the territory. So how we can integrate the territory. The speaker, Anthony, difficult, Polychronakis.
Yeah, but he's from Rotterdam.
You? From Rotterdam. How's possible with your name? You agree?
I will tell you.
Thank you well for being present. The floor is yours. Try to...
Yes, thank you. I'm honored to be here. And before I start, one personal thing. My name is Antonio Polychronakis. That's how we pronounce it in our dialect.
I made a disaster, but forgive me.
Because I'm from Cambria Veneziana, that is the island of Crete. And I have to say that I'm really honored to be in Trieste, because Trieste is a very important city for the Greek history. And probably without Trieste, I wouldn't be here sitting before you, because the Greek War of Revolution started partly from Trieste. And it also absorbed a lot of refugees from the Ottoman Empire at the time. But let me start with the content. I'm the chairman of the European Network of Social Authorities for the Elderly Working Group. And we work with a lot of with Trieste as well, with Veneto region, especially Venice, Treviso, in the field of health and care. And we are connected to the European Union, and the European Union, they have a few priorities. One of them is digital, like in this we are today. Another one is health. Another one is climate adaptation. And another one is the connection with human rights. I mean, with human rights, I mean democratic values of Europe, the dangers of the autocratic societies of Belarus, Russia, Turkey, and the migrant flows. That's also the last priority. Within health, prevention of health and healthy lifestyle is the top priority. And of course, the recovery of COVID-19 and economic growth. In healthy lifestyle of elderly, we try to do some digital projects like apps, healthy lifestyle apps. And the problem with elderly people was that some of them, they were not used to use digital means, so it was very difficult to get them involved. Another one was on a daily basis to follow your schedule digital to get all the peeps. Some of the elderly get crazy about it because then it became more and mean. So a part of that digital project failed. And then we started a project called Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. And that was very, very successful. And we did it with Treviso. What is it? Very quickly in a few minutes. We start not from the means and from the instruments like digital, which is not the goal, it's a mean. We start with, like the professor said, with the values of the elderly, and we gave them awareness information about what is healthy food. We gave them theory about sleep, about stress relief, relaxation, about movement, active actions and movement. And then we sit together in groups with the elderly of, let's say, 10 people, and we ask them how our daily life is. And then we ask them, what can you change in your daily habits that you improve, for example, your movement? Because we can ask them to go to a fitness club, but they will not go to a fitness club, most of them. So somebody says, for example, I have a dog, I can walk more with my dog. Well, that's a very good plan. So we make individual plans on the aspects of healthy food, of movement, of sleep, and of stress relief. Another one said, for example, well, I live in the 3rd floor of an apartment block, and I'd always take the lift, the elevator, but now I understand I will take the stairs. Because every time in the morning when I get my newspaper, I have extra exercise. And what we do with this daily plan is that we combine with the body of 2 elderly, that they call each other and inspire each other to get more movement, better food, because it's very difficult for people when they have habits, when they smoke every day, when they drink alcohol every day, to stop it directly. But in this way, they understand it and they can change suddenly their habits and then also the psychological attachment to that. And that's my message for you, that we have to think also about the elderly, what they can do in their lifestyles to change their habits. Thank you very much.
And to demonstrate that we learn, not your family names, that is catastrophe for pronunciation, stand up for a while, because after 45 minutes it's good to stand up. Everybody stand up. It's a message, right? Alzati, gruppi, oh bravi. Sit down. Thank you very much. Or Eucharistos. Stop. It's convenient. Anastasius. Who's Philip? No. I have another one. Philip, Anastasius is based. Philip, referent of healthcare. Where are you, Philip? C'è Anastasius?
Online.
Ah, mi fanno i trucchi, ma finalmente sbaglia qualcun altro. Anastasius, dove sei?
Hello, hi.
Hi, Anastasius. I presume you are sitting in Athene. Where? From Greece?
Yes. I am in Athens. How are you? Can you hear me?
Perfect. Chairman of the Board of Directors of NGO Alliance for Integrated Care. Please integrate us and tell us in 8-9 minutes how you can help us and how we can help you, please.
Okay. I can I have my presentation on if possible? Okay, great. So also for me, Trieste is a very special place. I've been doing a couple of projects with Trieste region in the past, and I represent the civil society here. I'm also a colleague of Professor Rat in this value care project and Anthony Polochronakis in other projects. So basically, I would like to discuss a bit about this very, let's say, prominent approach now related to value-based healthcare and how this can be adapted to the design of solutions for elderly people in local or, let's say, national settings or even European settings. Because what is important nowadays is that we create value for people involved, we create value for patients, professionals, the stakeholders also involved in policy making and exploitation and so on. So what is really proposed in the literature, but also from many studies, is that care for people should be person-centered, personalized, have the support of team of professionals, not just clinicians, but from many different professional backgrounds, and to be an integrated care, meaning this should be a continuum of care from the hospital in the community and back. Can I have the next slide, please? So value care is a project, as you know, that you have heard before just from Professor Rat, that is main aim is to contribute to the value care approach, meaning that we need to shift care in systems where services are reimbursed not by volume of services, but by the outcomes that are achieved in care settings. So the best outcomes patients or elderly people can achieve in social and health care can be a better way to reimburse these services in local or national health and care systems. So this is also important because it is based on the reduction of costs, population health, the patient experiences, and care team well-being as well. Because if patients have a better quality of care, this might reflect also to a less burden of care, also for professionals and people at home, supporting them. Next slide, please. So this is the main understanding of value care and value-based care is that we need to shift from this model where we pay for services into something that a new model whereby services are paid by what we achieve in patients in terms of quality of care, but also for professionals and informal caregivers. And this should be a pan-European strategy, which is actually now very much promoted in the European Commission. Next slide, please. So I wouldn't go too much into the into these components. Can I have the next slide because time is passing by? So the basic idea, which is of importance to the hackathon here, is that you need, through the co-creation process that Professor Rad mentioned before, even at hackathon levels, at very small, let's say, level, which is the most innovative part, to be able to draw up some requirements of the end users that could be translated then to the technical requirements of the ICT solution. So if I have like 2-3 minutes, what we basically do in our project is to be able to translate what they tell us is of value to them, what is important to them in order to, let's say, design a solution that is close to their needs. And is close to the needs of the patients, is close to the needs of the professionals, and also the informal caregivers. Can we go to the slide before the last one, please? So let's shift to the technical diagram. No, let's go down to the bottom of the presentation, a bit further down. Down. Okay, this one. No, the one before. Okay, so for today, because this is a technological event that you are doing, and tomorrow this is a high-level diagram of what we plan to do as an ICT solution in our project. This doesn't mean it is exhaustive, but this is the concept we have designed that can support the aims and the targets of our project. And basically what we want to do is to support through ICT this value care concept. And this ICT is actually composed of understanding the needs and the goals people set in a shared care plan. As you see, this shared care plan will be part of various pilots with various population in 7 countries, and 2 of the countries are actually focusing on frailty and social isolation. Other countries have other medical conditions, but that does not mean that they don't have frailty and social isolation as variables that are assessed. So the main part is the care plan to be developed, and this care plan and the variables in the care plan are going to be evaluated through a web dashboard that has all these variables inside, and the professionals will have access. But at the same time, there will be a mobile app for the patients themselves in order to have their targets and to be able to support goal setting that is actually coming through a virtual coach, which is the lower element, as you see in the bottom. It's the virtual coach that actually supports them and motivates these patients to achieve their goals. And data are coming and are flowing from different directions. We have data from devices, but we also have data through questionnaires and other variables. So all this flow of data gives us information in able to create personalized solutions and goals through the virtual coach, and the virtual coach is actually giving some recommendations and notifications and reminders for these people to achieve their goals, but also it gives reminders and notifications to the professionals that are actually supporting all this care plan, and also the informal caregivers. So the main message here is that you cannot do something alone. You need to hear all stakeholders. You need to hear the patients, you need to hear the professionals, you need to hear the caregivers, the informal caregivers, in order to make solutions that are practical and create value to the patients. I hope this is an inspiration, technical diagram more to the hackathon, and think of probably similar solutions that consider the issue of value in your design of solutions. So thank you very much, and I hope all the best for this exciting event today. Thank you.
Eucharistos, Eucharistos. Grazie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the slide that is more or less a diagram from our hackathon. They will put some ideas, and tomorrow, if you can reconnect, you will see what we will produce. Thank you, and we move to Philip, that I know is online. Philip Herman, thank you very much, referent of Healthcare Department of Regional Government of Carinthia. You are nearby. You have other guests from Austria. Floor is yours. 10 minutes, free to tell us what you are doing and how we can help you.
Wie denn? Ich habe es auf maximal aufgeraubt. Ich bin ja gebunden an den seiner Programm. Schon gesagt, lauter wird es nicht mehr.
1, 2, 3. Move your lips. No chance.
Tatsächlich auch nichts mehr, was er jetzt macht.
Bonjour Frédéric, c'est toi? Hello, ciao. We try to use every minute. So we keep Philip freeze. Philip, are you still there? Postpone. Frédéric, Vice Executive Director of International Society of Telemedicine. Telemedicine is something that our guests are thinking about. Probably you will tell us what's the difference between telemedicine and telemonitoring. My customer, that is the director of health in the region, asked me what we can do in telemonitoring that is a little bit easier and maybe is an inspiration for them. Vous, Frédéric?
Merci, thank you. Grazie. Yes, I actually have two
bon, si tu veux parler français, si tu veux parler
Nederlands.
flamand, go on in English.
Yeah, let's do that. I actually have two hats today, the one of the International Society for Telemedicine, but also the platform uptake.eu project, and that's actually one of the main things I want to talk to you about. I also want to say that this hackathon will be in my mind forever because it's the first business-related trip since the Middle Ages, somewhere in March 2020. So very happy to be here. But it will be even more memorable because of all the solutions that you will have developed by tomorrow evening. I will go through the slides, the first slides, very quickly because they just give some background information about platform uptake, the organizations that are involved. It is a project that is not developing technology, but rather supporting the uptake of some of the things that have been developed in the past within the frame of European and other projects. So we're very much looking at dissemination, communication. You see a few technical aspects here around different layers that platforms can and should have. The different stakeholders involved, we've heard in previous presentations about the importance to work with all of them to hear about their needs, etc. My colleague Javier will also get back on this. These are just some examples of the platforms that, some of the platforms that were developed in the past in the frame of European projects. Remember some of these names, have a look at it, if not now, during this hackathon, certainly for the future. These are platforms that can be used to build solutions upon, technical solutions to integrate devices, sensors, and so on into, let's say, a holistic system that is quite open, vendor neutral, and so on. We were looking at these different types of stakeholders, developing some key performance indicators as to what is important for all of them, even building some monitoring tools for platform developers. But so the main message I want to bring you related to open platforms is that we've moved very much in the past from hardware solutions, basic solutions, which are still very much needed today as well. But obviously, in the meantime, thanks to ICT, we are now able to offer technological solutions to all the people to cope with certain challenges. And again, this diagram will come up in Javier's presentation, so I'm not going to dwell on it. I would say this is unfortunately the worst slide of the presentation because it has way too much text. On the other hand, it is one of the more important ones because it says what we mean when we say open platforms. It all comes down to what I was mentioning earlier about having a system, having a platform that can integrate various devices, wearables, IoT devices, and so on. And you see a number of criteria listed there, which we consider to be part of open platforms, but not all open platforms are necessarily complying with all these criteria, but definitely look at open APIs, open standards, and so on. So there's a lot of that already out there. Hopefully you will be aware of some of that, or you will have a bit of a chance during this weekend to go into more detail. Then just a few words about telemedicine, telehealth, telemonitoring, and all these different terms that are being used. This is also one of my activities, an international network of telemedicine, telehealth, digital health stakeholders. Now here, very importantly, yes, there, look at that. This is already a little bit of the past because there were always these different boxes that were available. And it's disappearing again. Yeah, anyway. So this was standalone boxes that were being produced by manufacturers where you had to plug in your blood pressure monitor, things like that. So it were fairly closed systems. You had something from one manufacturer, one provider, and that was it. In the meantime, obviously, everything has become more software-based, integrated in the cloud, etc. And you can use any types of monitoring devices to measure your weight, your blood pressure, oxygen saturation levels, and so on. And that's really what we have to look at and what we have to work with and create that open system to integrate all those different things. And so telehealth, definitely, I think when we talk isolation and loneliness, we often think, rightly so, about social connections, improving the potential for social connections of older people who are alone at home or maybe in a rural area with not many neighbors and family around them. Very important, but also think about the medical aspects, the healthcare aspects, making sure that these older people at home alone have access to their primary care physician, to their nursing care team maybe, etc., through teleconsultation, through telemonitoring, measuring their vital signs and healthcare status. So this may also be something for some of you, some of the teams to look at. I'm very interested to see what indeed you will be focusing on and working on. Just a little bit back to platform uptake. We do already have a listing there of a number of existing platforms, some coming out of European projects, some more commercially developed and made available by companies. But we're looking to grow this list, so for any of you who might come across platforms, definitely get in touch with us, and we can show these on the open information hub that we have developed. Same thing with solutions, if they show up. Anyway, there's also a directory about solutions. So platform is the technical backbone. The solutions are what the end user will have in his hands, etc., the wearables and so on. So that is very important. And the presentation, okay, there it is. And then I just want to finish with saying that I hope you that tomorrow will not be, let's say, the end, but will only be the beginning, and that you can join us over the next few months for a number of events that we will be staging. And I'm sure the presentation will be made available so you can have a look at it in more detail later on, but happy to hear from you after that, and wishing you good luck with the hackathon and the solutions that you will be developing.
Frederick, you will stay with us. Here we go. This is the technical support of the digital applause. Now, the applause. We have Philip or not? Maybe later. So the applause is for the C session. C session is important because we will check and face-to-face the experience. Shut up. Applause are going on. We have Frederick in presence. You are coming from? No, Javier.
I'm Javier.
Frederick is gone. Javier
is coming.
From Spain or from where?
My company is from the Netherlands, but I am Spaniard.
You're Spaniard.
Yeah.
Bienvenido, and muchas gracias de tu explanación. The floor is yours.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Presentazione di Javier. Chief Executive Office, Academy, capacity building to implement age-friendly environments in Europe. Go.
Buongiorno a tutti.
In italiano, claro.
Claro che sì. No, niente. Buongiorno a tutti. Thank you very much for having invited me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here with you, and also to get to know your country, the north of the country, and different places, beautiful places. And yesterday I arrived in the night, but today I am looking forward to visit your beautiful city of Trieste. It looks like technology. It's always very easy. You have taken into account all the different possibilities, but believe me, I'm very lucky to be here today because a QR code that you need nowadays for traveling everywhere, well, it's a very simple thing with 3 big squares in 3 corners. Well, in mine, it was delivered and generated on Thursday, but it didn't work. I have 2 versions from the same company who gave it to me, and this is not being read by any of the systems nowhere. So I still don't know how I managed to come from Barcelona to here, but things happen. So my pleasure. I'm going to talk today about digital solutions to face the challenge of, thank you very much, of loneliness as isolation, and has already been introduced by our friend Valentina Tageo. Nevertheless, I would like to know from the audience, just very quickly, who of you knew before this session today what is the difference between loneliness and social isolation? Did you know it? Yes, so that's very good. Some people did know, so congratulations, because I didn't know. Well, I knew something, but when I was looking a little bit more at it, I got even more surprised. So I think if you are going to address solutions for that challenge, you need to understand which of the challenges are you addressing. And they are different, and many people are suffering from either or the other. On the left, you have the values from AAL. Loneliness affects 14% of the people. And on the right, values from USA government in terms of social isolation. So this is different. And as it says in the center, you can live alone and not feel lonely or socially isolated. And you can also feel lonely while being with other people. So these terms are different. And also, if you find something that loves solitude, again, another term, leave that person, because that person is happy being enjoying solitude. So this is, again, another topic. We are talking about social isolation and loneliness. I will not go very much into detail, but you will get all these slides. They have already been shared. But believe me, these 2 topics can have very big consequences and possible effects, so that the people with this could get higher risk of all these diseases you see on the left. So they go from high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, etc., etc. So the consequences can be very, very big, and even on the right, you have other possible consequences. So you can have a look at that if you want to address something that would be prevention, because if you have an address to addressing that, you could be preventing for those people who are alone also other problems. But how to know if someone is being alone or feeling isolated? I took this toolkit that has been developed by the National Institute of Aging in the USA, and they have very simple questions. Yeah, so if one of the following topics applies to you or one of your loved persons, they are in risk of getting this. So you can see them on the left. Either they live alone or they can live home because of accessibility problems, wherever it is. They are a caregiver. You know the burden of being a caregiver. You need a lot of time, etc. And on the right, and these are the things or ideas that one person with these factors could perform to stay active and connecting with others to protect those negative effects. So here you already have some ideas. These are also taken from that tool. So either schedule time each day to contact family, friends, etc. We do that automatically with tools like WhatsApp, etc. nowadays, but some people don't. Restart an old hobby. Yeah, so for instance, if you liked very much cooking, why not dedicate some time and even teach your cooking things to other people that are younger, so that the younger people learn how to old-fashioned or grandma's kitchen or cooking way, and that person could learn from you other things. Or so there are many things to integrate, and many solutions for intergenerational activities. Also, you could volunteer and help others, or you could adopt a pet, etc. So, but one of the things you might also want to do is to contact your doctor. But if you cannot come out of the house, how can you contact the doctor or the social services? So if you are isolated, for sure, it's very difficult. If you are feeling alone, perhaps you could do that, but you might be embarrassed. So there are many issues to be addressed. So digital solutions, there are many things out there already, mainly because of the work that institutions like the Active Ambient Assisted Living program from the EU has developed. Sorry, I jumped just too fast. And also from the EAP on AHA. So you see many calls have been granted in the first call of the program, and many things are already out there. So again, here you have examples of things that perhaps could provide you some ideas, but I heard already you have already your thoughts, but anyway, you will get this to consult as well. And also the Smart Aging Prize that has been mentioned, and the second version of it, and the second edition that were given in year 2018, for instance, all the three prizes were related somehow to facing social isolation and loneliness. And also there has been a very big program within the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging, promoted by the European Commission, and there were different action groups and reference sites there who have done a lot of work, and we are developing still other works, like for instance the Cost Action Net for Age Friendly, and there are also different Erasmus Plus projects, hands-on shop, etc. So many things are still taking place to solve different problems, not only loneliness, but also other things. And now now it doesn't jump. Why? Do I have to go to another? It's happening what it happened also to Philip. There it was. I have to type here. I don't know what happens.
Maybe it's too far away from the computer.
That can you type? No, you cannot type. I will tell you when to. Yeah, I don't know.
I know this effect from other meeting rooms.
Yeah, so.
Suppose you explain us without a slide.
It's very easy. Now it's already solved. Yeah. So we see that many things have already been done, but still we are talking about that, and that's the topic of this hackathon this weekend. So why? So if you show the next picture, please. Already Frederick has shown there are many domains that are related to the persons, the end user needs and perspective, and what they would like to.
Take a picture of this, take a picture, because it's inspiration.
This could, because actually whatever you might develop will fall somehow in one of these, most probably, in one of these domains. So we have three main axes. You will get all this information as well for you later. And then you see, if you go to the next slide, for instance, I based this example on the prizes that were given to in the AAL, what was the name again? Challenge Award Prize. I can't remember now the name again. Sorry. And then the first prize was from a computer with only one button. So this is great. The name is Comp. And here you see the relation from the person to strengthening social and informal connectivity to the community, and also that computer, for instance, supports social connectivity. So you will see that many of your solutions fall down into one of these areas. So think about that, and we can go to the next slide.
I push you to the conclusion.
That's it, the conclusion. So what is important? I know you are already talking about co-design, but if you are also developing something for older people, younger people, whatever it is, also end users, talk to them, involve them. Do not do things for them without them. And think about that they are heterogeneous. We are not all the same. So also younger people are not all the same. So they are very different. And also think that even your own situation is changing every day. So many things could happen. So also the situation from older people. Do not reinvent the wheel. There are many things already out there. So why not using, for instance, the case of open platforms, different APIs that could be out there. Do not generate isolated solutions. Integrate, collaborate with the others. Yeah, and there are also many ideas, prototypes, etc., that do not manage to come to the market. So, for instance, in this case, connect and collaborate with all different types of stakeholders from the very beginning. Perform user-centered design, co-design, design thinking. Think out of the box. Yeah, what can you do differently? Also for unexpected, we have been living a very strange situation over the last 1.5 years. So come out of that, of your current mental mindset, and come out of the box. And also think, of course, about the value chain. Involve all the stakeholders. Think about innovative business models. We see that mainstream solutions are already coming in. When we started with the COVID, when we suddenly started using GoToMeeting, Zoom, etc., they were already there. When they were not thought for families as well, we are using them now, but so they were already a solution. So come out of the box, think about new things. I am not presenting you concrete digital solutions as an example, because already Frederick did that, but think about these different domains, think about the people, and be creative. Next slide, please. So develop something, and I will use the same word that that Marco was using. Keep it simple and sexy. And that's nice. And then the last one for this weekend, please enjoy. It has been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Ariel. When it was a suggestion to make it simple and try to look at the person needing care, it's me, of course, because I am the older person.
Everybody, for everybody.
Well, everybody is different. We are in the era of mass specialization, so everybody is different, and we can today, with technology, taking care of a single condition in a single situation. Before Maria, I ask again if Philip is around or not. He's coming. Floor to Maria Feldner, Chief Executive Officer of Digital Life spin-off of the IANEUM Research Institute, that is coming from Graz with several friends. Thank you very much to know. We have also a friend from Italy working there. Raise your hand. He will be Ciao, Engineer Cozzi. Engineer Cozzi works there, but is moving up and down. IANEUM, what are you doing in Graz for aging healthy over 65? Please.
Thanks a lot for this kind introduction and the invitation to this great event. Digital Life is a spin-off of IANEUM Research. I have been working there for 20 years until we founded this spin-off in February 2020, right at the beginning of these times we all will remember. The initiative for what we are doing now goes back until 2015. There were several research projects of IANEUM Research, also with partners from the Netherlands and from course. Also within the AAL program, we had the project Playtime, and we are very happy that Digital Life is now the result and a product out of this series of research projects, which is not always the case, as we already heard. Well, I could tell you about my grandma who was suffering from dementia about 35 years ago, but this is not about me and my grandma. It's about 10 million people affected in Europe and about 50 million people worldwide, and of course about their relatives and caregivers. And it is estimated that it will double 2025. My grandma had Alzheimer's. Oh, there is a. Thanks a lot. My grandma had Alzheimer's at a time when quite little was known about this disease among the general public. This is different today. Today there are many organizations and offers in this field, but the disease itself, it's still not curable. Therefore, the World Health Organization recommends combined behavior-oriented interventions as the only effective approach. And our app supports these new offers with a clear and scientifically based structure of a training so that caregivers and relatives can get right into action with very little training effort, even without expert knowledge. You can have a look on our website where there are several videos explaining the method and also the scientific background. Each training session of our solution with this app has a specific theme, for example, water, and it contains a sequence of exercises that stimulate the various human senses. And each theme has 4 levels of difficulty. So it always starts with movement and perception exercises to warm up, and then they are followed by knowledge questions, calculations, crosswords, and several kinds of exercises for holistic brain activation and so on. This activating training with the app is based off a multimodal training model of the MAS Alzheimer-Hilfe in Austria, and it was developed, as already mentioned, as part of several research projects together with UNM Research and Medical University Graz, for example. And the training can be used by individuals at home to stay active themselves and to train together with their relatives. And in the context of mobile services, it can be used for supervised training with professionals or with trained volunteers. And in inpatient facilities and practices, it can not only be used in a single individual setting, but also in group sessions, as you can see on the picture on the right. So the advantages of this solution are that you can get right into practice even without any preparational effort, and it is thoroughly tested in practice. It was developed with the future users. There were a lot of field tests. On the other hand, it is professionally well founded and scientifically grounded and clearly structured. Now I want to go on the meta level. What is the innovation in this solution? Well, the first innovation was that this mobile service, which was offered by our partners in these previous projects, was itself a service innovation, because this was not used 20 or 30 years before, that the trainer comes to the person at home and makes activating training due to a special method. And now many organizations are establishing such trainings, such offers, and developing their own business model, how they can offer such a mobile training. And on the technology, if we go to the technology innovation, the digitalization of this activating multimodal training is just the first step. There is a lot of scientific work behind, which is still under development, and in our research projects ongoing, such as that we use the camera of the tablet for eye tracking. That means we are following the eyes and, for example, look how often a person looks from one side to other in a spotted difference exercise. Or there are so-called anti-saccade tests from psychology, and we use these gaze indicators for deriving indicators for measuring dementia. And we are correlating this with the known testings like MOCA test and MMSE. And this can be used then for status monitoring and decision support based on the eye tracking and the other performance data out of the training. And we are aiming at certification as a medical device for dementia therapy and diagnostics in the future. And in the last step, we want to look on process innovation. When you have a digital solution, this always changes the processes in an organization. So you have to find out how changes the workflow and the division of labor. For example, with this digital solution, you can create content by the trained persons, by the professional caregivers, for example, and you can integrate family pictures for the puzzles and so on. And you can train, for example, volunteers, and volunteers then visit the people at home. So you do not need only persons who have 2 years dementia trainer education. So this changes the division of labor in an organization and also the workflow, how you do your work. And of course, training, documentation, and monitoring of the status is then a side effect of this digital solution. So if you are curious now how about the look and feel of the solution, you can go to our website, www.digital.live/test. There is a free test version, also in English available. It works on Android tablets. Smartphone is too small for that. And you can, of course, contact me anytime. I will stay there during the break, not for the whole hackathon, but for the following break. I also have a tablet with me. You can test it and see it. And we are also seeking, especially for Italian, but also for all over Europe, for network partners, for future projects, for lead customers, and for people who want to work with us for bringing our solution into the different cultural contexts all over Europe. Thanks a lot.
Danke, Maria. I really want to age because I want to profit of your proposal and tools, etc. You explain us with so much passion.
That's cool.
You will stay with us. Helping. Philip, are you back with the determination and the technology? We listen to you. Let's encourage Philip with an applause. Now he speaks. I present you Philip Herman, referent of healthcare department of the regional government of Carinthia. So we have the best part of Austria, no doubt. Thank you very much. The floor is yours. 10 minutes, and you are the last speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Don't leave us. Go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here and speaking on behalf of the regional minister of the region of Carinthia, Dottoressa Beate Breitner. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I may just give you a short overview of the actions we take in order to make life easier for the elderly in Carinthia. May I please have the next slide? Hello? Yeah, thank you. So what we did, we had Interreg project funded by the European Union, which was called Consenso, and we put it into a permanent activity, calling it nursing coordination, which is like we established could you please go back? Thank you. Day centers, and we had like the idea was to make everyday life easier for elderly by making their everyday activities easier, because we are facing a socio-demographic change in Carinthia, and I think it's probably same like situation in all other neighboring countries. Like elderly are staying in the countryside on their own. Their children live in city centers, and they face extreme loneliness, and they are not supported. So that was the idea. So we established day centers, we established pick-up deliveries, and we had preventive support for elderly people in order not to bring them to foster homes. And it's really crucial that also the family supporting people are also being taken care of, because they are the ones who look after the elderly, and they sometimes are very often facing anxiety problems, and they are not capable of taking care. So this is what we try to support those people as well. Yeah, could I have the next? Yeah, what the next thing is that we established a honorary office. This is like people sometimes themselves, they are retired or they're students, and they are looking for helping elderly people for free. What the region offered is free vocational training, and they are also socially insured by the region. So they have social insurance by the region, and they get a mileage allowance. So when they are going to visit those elderly people, they get mileage allowance, so they do not face any costs whatsoever by offering that free service. What are those people doing? They are going to the grocery store, doing shopping. They are helping, visiting the doctor, visits to nursing homes when they want to visit friends. They want to go to the cemeteries, visit their passed away spouses mostly. They do any kind of social activities like playing cards or going for walks. And it's just like the idea is a social empowerment. So not to leave those people sitting at home on their own and facing loneliness. That's the idea. And it's working really very well. Could I have the next slide, please? We also established health consulting by phone, which is for anyone, but it's especially helping the elderly, because if you imagine you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you are facing a health issue problem, there is no way you can go, because mostly you either do not have a license, don't have a car, you're not mobile. It's impossible for you to leave the house. You're probably very reluctant to call your children in the middle of the night. So those people, they face health issues whatsoever, high blood pressure. Yeah, and we established health consulting 24 hours, 365 days per year, and you just call 1450, and highly skilled person, which is mostly a nurse, will pick up the phone, and we had incredibly good feedback from that hotline. Actually, it's a health hotline. Like 70% of people misjudge their health complaints about urgency. So before we established that hotline, all those people would have ended up in an ambulance being taken to the hospital. So 70% misjudged their health complaints, and 20% of the callers were transferred to outpatient clinics, which means like practitioners. So we are reassuring, on one side, we are reassuring those people not to panic and go to the doctor the next day. And on the other side, we are actually helping the clinics not to be over flooded by patients. Could I have the next slide, please? Yeah. One more thing we did was we have a major issue with chronic wounds, like due to diabetes or like chronic wounds that will not heal. So all those people had to go to a special clinic, which is located in Klagenfurt, which is the capital of Carinthia. And that was a major issue because all those people actually are not, it's very difficult for them to travel. Yeah, they need someone to bring them there. The doctor is taking care of the wound and then bring them back home. What we did, we were bringing the doctor to their home. Yeah, so the doctor is going to their home with a wound nurse, a specially educated and skilled wound nurse. They are actually with a high resolving camera taking pictures and videos of the wound, and the specialist in the clinic is via live stream assessing the examination of the wound, and he can decide whether to bring the patient into the clinic or not. So chronic wounds are a major issue, not only facing healthcare issues, but also psychological issues, because it's not an easy target face. What we found out during the project is pain drops dramatically. So pain is a subjective perception of the patient. The treatment of the wound itself is experienced as less stressful, of course, because when you're staying in your home, in your environment, with your wife, with your family, and the doctor is visiting you at home, it's less stressful than going to a hospital. Frustration drops really significantly because those people tend to get frustrated. Because if you are facing a wound that will not heal over months or even years, that's very frustrating. And this is another issue we examined, that those people have a more positive approach towards life all over. And
I'm sorry, Philip, I have to push you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I only got 10 minutes. Yeah, I hope I could give you an insight of our activities. If you have any inquiries or questions, please do not hesitate to send an email, and I'm very happy to give you any help, to give you any further information whatsoever. Yeah. Grazie mille.
At the beginning, Philip, I was telling our friend that aging is relatively better than not getting age due to a practical reason. But aging in Carinthia seems to be very healthy and happy. So eventually, not these guys, that takes time, but myself and others, we will come to Graz or Klagenfurt to enjoy and to test your experience. Thank you to all. Your hands are warm. You have been clapping several times. You did not fall down bored about the explanation, that anyhow gave inspiration for the hackathon itself. Okay? Now is a moment to
make it interactive.
To know the teams.
Yes.
Because when we were, let's say, preparing the hackathon itself, my idea was to pick up Malignani from Udine against Pordenone, that are better naturally, and Volta, other guys. Then we realize that an internal competition is not the sense of exploiting different experience. Maybe from Malignani they play hardware better than Kennedy, that is much better. I'm from Milano, not from Pordenone here. But the idea is to have a mixed teams. Diego and Eva will now announce the team. It is a very important moment. You have been listening, person, expert person, wise person, telling us you have to include, you have to participate. So you will be forced to have a friend in Pordenone. Unusual from Udine, but let's cut barrier. This will happen with the friends from Slovenia. And you have to reflect at the beginning what you want to do. The result tomorrow will not only a pitch, an idea. Maybe we bring some old guys, myself, etc. And I want to test how your proposal will cut loneliness. In my case, it's not so heavy loneliness, but I will simulate. I don't know what we can touch. You will have mentors. You will have expert. You will have technician around. I have to present mentors now?
No, just a second. Yes, we will present a lunch and try to explain to all of you in presence here.
Now is the moment of building up the team.
Yes, of course. And first of all, I would like to thank you to all of you, and of course also the online attendance, because from online it's not possible to see how many people are here in present in person here, and we are listening and we are having a good time. And so this is a very interactive and practical part and phase of the today meeting. Of course, I'm glad and I thank all the speakers that present the introductory parts and session, and I'd like to invite all of them to stay with us to see the composition of the themes, and of course the mentor that will support and will give the expertise and competencies to all the students and all the participants. So I would like to say that all the groups are composed by students, CSO members, startups, companies that are in the field of active aging, and they are dealing with these kind of really important and focuses, because we are talking about loneliness and isolation, but then also in correspondence and in connection with these topics, we have also the digital solution and the practical things. So I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Diego Santaliana, and he will present the team composition, and we will have 10 different groups that will work on specific thematics. Please, Diego. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. A quick question to the students. Have all of you registered at the entrance, because we are missing some names? So if so, I announce the groups. Okay, so group number 1 is composed by Giovanni Bernobic from ITS Volta. Please come here and we'll give you...
Yes. So
Giovanni, are you here?
I invite all the people that will be called and named by Diego to stand up and
gather here in front of everyone.
Here, obviously respecting all the 1 meter.
Giovanni Bernobic, Esposito Umberto from ITS Alto Adriatico, Andras Jared, University of Ljubljana, Leonardo Murlot, ITIS Malignani, Delpine Elettra, ITIS Malignani. stand in front of me here, in front of the camera. So you all belong to group number 1. Okay. Okay, thank you. You can take a seat. And
applauso anche a loro!
group number 2, Massimiliano Bastia, ITS Volta. Massimiliano.
We know that you are here.
Danelon Matteo, Tina Zbogar, Jacob Gruden. Massimiliano. We'll find him later. Okay, thank you guys. Group number 3, Andrea Foletto, ITS Alto Adriatico, Achille Sartor, ITS Malignani, Marta Ceccotti, Gruppo Pragma, Emanuel Baruca, Joseph Stefan. So we have Marta, your name? Okay, 4 of you. Very good. Thank you. Group number 4, Riccardo Gentile, ITS Alto Adriatico, Teresa Pagnutti, ITS Malignani, Giulia Luna Milocco, ITS Malignani, Natasha Korinsek, from Systematic. That's all. Thank you. Group number 5, Filippo Laterra, ITS Volta, Enrico Marangon, ITS Alto Adriatico, Martina Odorico, ITS Malignani, Uros Keber, from Systematic, here you are. Thank you. Welcome. Next group, group number 6, Gianluca Candi, ITS Volta, Javier Perin, ITS Alto Adriatico, Leonardo Gallerani, ITS Malignani, Michela Sossi, Ziga Zois, Milena Bernes, Cooperativa Sociale Itaca. Group number 7, Nicola Virgilio, ITS Malignani, Gioele Sartelli, ITS Malignani, Anna Cossutta, Joseph Stefan, Antonio Fusco, ITS Volta, Mikkel Johansen e Lion Dix.
Avete gli infiltrati?
Group number 8, Andrea Bagolin, ITS Volta, Claudio Marcuzzi, ITS Malignani, Maria Marzullo, Cooperativa Sociale Itaca, Jernej Antonic, Josef Stefan. Thank you. Group number 9, Alan Taucher, Josef Stefan, Silvia De Marco, ITS Malignani, Thomas Cara, ITS Malignani, Martina Lavagnini, Gruppo Pragma. Last but not least, group number 10, Alison Lorandi, ITS Malignani, Jakob Tavkar, Zigazois, Sara Noacco, ITS Malignani, Andrea Bianco, ITS Malignani, Tamara Humar, University of Ljubljana.
Alta densità femminile.
Thank you. Is anyone not assigned to groups? Can you raise your hand?
I think.
Massimiliano Bastia. Andraz Jereb, University of Ljubljana.
Group number 1, you have the star? Perfect.
Okay. Another question. There are 2 people coming from 2 universities, Francese Valerio and University of Udine, and Alberto Nescadec from University of Trieste. Are you willing to participate in the teams?
Why not?
Why not?
E cosa fate?
Up to you. If you want, there is space in the group.
Pavidi.
Okay. Now it's time to introduce the mentors.
Okay. Hai gelato.
Aperto il gelato, aperto il gelato. Dagli alti spazi di Science Park, Maurizio. Maurizio voleva venire a fare il mentore e invece è un coach di una squadra di rugby, corretto? Calcio, vabbè, insomma, quindi è abituato a strizzare i garretti e non le menti, è esperto.
To physical training rather than to mental training, and expert in startup development. But certainly who will benefit from his support, he will have important suggestions. I will deal mainly about business modeling. My name is Maurizio Caradona. I'm from Area Science Park. I've been dealing from technology transfer and startup development. I've studied biological sciences, so close to healthcare, and I've been working a lot in the diagnostic sector of Eurohospital, a company based in Trieste. Area Science Park is a national research center dealing with the technology transfer mainly, and it has over 40 years of activity, and I work in Innovation Factory, which is a certified incubator in Area Science Park that incubates new startups. Here we have a presentation on Area Science Park. We are an agency for innovation, let's say, and for years we've been dealing with innovation. It was created in 1978. It has its evolution. It is a science and technology part, and then developed into a national research center with two main facilities, one campuses, one in Basovizza, the other one in Padriciano, with different facilities, equipments, and in the area of synchrotrone. These are the four sectors area deals with: science and tech park, business generation, innovation, science and tech platforms. Here are the two campuses, and then technology transfer for some of you. Technology transfer deals with trying to transfer what is being searched, what is being done in the sector of research in private and public research into industry. I work in Innovation Factory, which is a certified incubator of area science park, which has this main goal, which is transporting an idea of business that you might be creating in these 2 days up to the market, be it a simple idea, be it coming from the research sector as the development of a prototype of product or a differentiation inside a company. What I've been working on over the years is following startups. What do we do? How we operate is to reduce startup risk and increase the value through 3 main concepts: team development, product development, service development, and market development, because the 3 steps are essential. We often speak only about product, but product is not at the base of the development of a business. So what is more important is the team and the market. So this is what we're going to focus on in these 2 days. So these are the 2 activities: increasing the value and reducing risks. If we read it from left to right, from the idea to validation, research and development, patents, the creation of the first prototype, and so on, what happens? What actually had a very small value, the idea itself. Following all these steps, it increases its value and reduces the risk, the business risk, which of course increases as we get closer to the market. So what we're going to do today and tomorrow is trying to help you consolidating your business model, your business idea through the business model, in order to understand the different aspects of the markets. What is a business model? We're going to be dealing in detail with the business model in the afternoon, but a business model canvas description is that it describes the rationale of how an organization, a startup, a company creates, delivers, and captures value, a value that needs to be brought to the end customer. It is related to strategic vision, organizational structure, processes, and systems. And for these reasons, your idea needs to be assessed and modified. Business model is a dynamic tool. It changes as we interact and exchange views within the team and with the customer. It is connected to the 4 main business areas: customers, financial, offer, and infrastructure. These are the main 4 aspects we're going to deal with. So 9 building blocks that refer to the main aspects of your future company. We're going to deal with it in the afternoon in detail. So we will be creating this business model canvas that you will receive in the afternoon that groups all these aspects from customers to value propositions to the channels to relations with customers, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partners, and the costs. What is essential is understanding the value proposition. What creates value for your customers, which is of paramount importance for you and needs to be looked at under the customer perspective. So, because it is the customer that is going to expresses its needs, we need to meet. And here are some examples on a range of products which are the different needs met. For example, Rolex. Rolex is a watch. So what is the need of a watch? The needs that a watch meets. Watch should provide the exact time. So the best watch to give you the best time, probably this is not the reason why you buy a Rolex. Rolex is probably also a status symbol. It is belonging to a category, to a class of people that can actually possess such a watch. So Rolex, which is a watch in itself, represents much more than a simple watch. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Maurizio. So exploit his experience because it really can help you. Alberto Steiner, engineer. Devo passare a link.
Please.
Thank you, Franco. So, I was assigned 5 minutes in the morning, so I will present myself very shortly. So if we can go to the next slide. As Franco said, I graduated in electrical engineering, and I was lucky enough to start my career in research and development department. By the way, I created a research and development department in what is now synchrotron, Trieste Synchrotron Radiation Facility. At that time, it was a sort of hole digging where they were digging to create the foundation of the building. So I was, unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember those times.
He's a customer.
And later on, I joined what nowadays we call startup. At that time, we did not use this word, but it was a startup. And by the way, with hard work, application, it became a large company, a listed company in Milano Stock Exchange with more than 2,800 employees in 20 countries, dealing with clinical engineering. We are too far, so I am in the previous slide. Thank you. And I had the opportunity to manage several companies throughout Europe. And what is significant today is that I worked in the largest Italian company dealing with telecare, serving more than 38,000 fragile citizens in Italy with services ranging from telecare to telemedicine. And I was lucky enough also to participate in what is considered today the gold standard in telemedicine, that is the project that started in 2009 in the UK, in National Health Service of UK, where it was called the Whole System Program Demonstrator, and now it's considered really the gold standard because for the first time it was proved scientifically that telemedicine works with over 7,000 patients in a real clinical study. Well, as Franco said, I'm now managing an incubator with 59 companies, and I really enjoy dealing with so many different companies with so nice idea. So, next slide, please. Prototyping, I was assigned in the discussion of business prototyping. So this guy probably has been working on prototypes for all his life, but probably has done no business at all. So what we will concentrate, and my assignment today is to go, next slide please, to business outcomes. So we want to transform ideas, nice ideas, in business. So what I will tell you in the afternoon, after lunch, is a process, a systematic process to define what you should do to create real value from an idea and understand if your idea has value at all. So, next slide, please. At the end, what we want to achieve is a startup, is a company, is whatever, but at the end, it's something that has to create value and increasing value over time.
Grazie. Grazie Alberto, sfruttate anche lui, ha i capelli bianchi, è dinamico, può essere un cliente ma può essere un ispiratore. Oggi il tuo ruolo non è da cliente. You are active enough, so you don't have to be motivated as a customer. Fabrizio Rondo, expert in business model canvas. Definitely you are, as per age, you are closer to the hackathon than to the customer like myself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Fabrizio Rondo. I'm in charge of design thinking with my own company. I'm professor of I'm professor of design management in ISEA, is the public university of product design, and I'm a business design expert for the Polo Tecnologico Alto Adriatico. So I will be your mentor for business planning. Okay. Okay, go on. And so why business planning is important? So we could consider, I read with you, a business plan as a guide, a roadmap for your business that outlines goals, as my colleague told Alberto and also Maurizio say, outline goals and details the way to achieve them. It's quite important. So it's a way to execution that it's as important as ideation and modeling and prototyping. Okay. So why a business plan is important? It's for entrepreneurs and startup. It had to be focused on all steps necessary to make business idea happen, so that and to achieve also short-term and long-term objectives. Of course, we are close to the phase of ideation, business modeling, prototyping, and we go to the phase of the pitch we will discuss in the workshop. And so everything is connected. And so we will starting from your idea, starting from your team, starting from the design thinking phase, we will help you all together in going through and up to your goal. And so just to end, so business planning, Eva, grazie. So there are some sections, and you will complete most of them. We will help you. These phases are important for the pitch. The pitch is the final, the summarization of your work, and you have to really conquer the judge. And so it's a competition, so it's a fair competition, but so the site is summary, business description, market analysis and strategy. So we will be focused on that. Market and sales plan, competitive analysis then we will discuss about. Management, organization, description, so the team, so it's quite important. Product and service description, of course. Financial plan, we will discuss a little bit. And request for funding, because you have to be close to that, because a startup has to pitch to request in the first seed and round a request for funding, so you have to apply very well that phase. Okay, thank you very much. Commitment and enjoy.
Fabrizio never sleeps, so tonight he will be available. Of course, I don't know if Alessandra will be available tonight, but encourage her. She is very shy. So Alessandra comes. Encourage her with an applause.
Okay, so first of all, I'm really happy to share this wonderful experience with you all. I don't promise you that I will spend all the night, because at 53, I think there is no more age to stay, wake up all the night long. But anyway.
By definition, we are healthy and happy over 65.
Anyhow, I'm specialized in strategic marketing and planning. I have my own company that I started in '99 with an engineer. Our company is located in Pordenone at Polo Tecnologico Alto Adriatico, and I'm always very happy to share experience of contamination. During this hackathon, my role will be the one to help you, especially with the soft skills. So I will try to help you to stimulate creativity in working in group, try not to fight during especially the toughest part of the night, and somehow with my colleagues at 9, if I'm not wrong, we will try to help you to be ready for your pitch presentation. Let me say that I love to win. So I really want you to have a good experience. I think Franco, we talk too much, and everybody, included myself, I'm impatient to start working. So
in between we will have some food, by the way. Grazie. Now we have a chairman coming here. From His Majesty, and where is Daniele Cozzi? Dove sei? Presidente e altissimo amico. È scappato. Dov'è Daniele? Lo si vede, è più alto, è con gli austriaci forse. Maybe, let's move on. Diego Cienetiempio. Dove sei? Eccoti qua. Thank you. Pitch, multimedia, digital tech. Ciao. You are behind the camera, so
so
you present yourself. You're really doing. You're really doing, not talking. How you will help them?
Allora, innanzitutto mi presento, io mi chiamo Diego Cenetiempo, sono un videomaker, un regista, faccio questo lavoro da molti anni, da quando avevo 18-19 anni, quindi penso più o meno alla vostra età. Ho cominciato sperimentando, girando dei piccoli corti con gli amici, con mezzi rudimentali di mio papà, telecamere con videocassette interne, montandole con computer improbabili che si inceppavano, ma questi primi corti hanno dato i loro risultati perché ho iniziato a vincere, prima a essere scelto nei vari festival, a vincere vari festival, fino a che piano piano hanno iniziato a darmi dei soldi per farli e da lì è iniziata la mia carriera. Adesso ho 43 anni, faccio questo lavoro quindi ormai da 25, non mi ricordo neanche più. Mi occupo principalmente di spot pubblicitari, ho vari clienti, illi, generali, ma anche di video promozionali per enti pubblici e privati, quindi i famosi video aziendali, detti anche, e almeno diciamo che ogni anno riesco a far uscire più o meno un titolo, quindi documentari, sto parlando per il momento, e sono in fase di preproduzione, speriamo, incrociamo le dita e fatelo anche voi per me, per il mio primo film di fiction, che dovrebbe, se Dio vuole, fra 2 anni, 1 o 2 anni, prendere vita.
Ma come li aiuti?
Adesso ci arrivo. Vi aiuterò sostanzialmente offrendo il mio supporto tecnico. Io non sono qui solo, sono insieme a... Vedete lì sul fondo, il ragazzo con la maglia nera. Insieme sostanzialmente cosa faremo? Abbiamo una stanza giù al primo piano, l'officina, che abbiamo cercato di sgomberare, e lì però questa sera e domani mattina, idealmente comunque entro la mattinata domani devono essere pronti tutti, gireremo dei video pitch, quindi uno per gruppo sostanzialmente. Quindi cosa vi chiedo intanto di allertarvi, poi magari anche nel pomeriggio penso, no? Ne riparleremo meglio, di riuscire a esprimere la vostra idea in maniera molto breve, quindi parlo di 2 minuti, sono cambiati tantissimo i tempi di attenzione, pensate che uno spot, un video promozionale 2 anni fa me lo chiedevano di 5, adesso me lo chiedono di 30 secondi per capirsi, per cui ormai la brevità purtroppo è diventata un valore.
Now,
dico purtroppo perché
you need to
non si riesce a raccontare
to keep it brief, to keep it short. So we are gonna record this short video pitch. So please keep it short. If you have ideas, please communicate them in the right way. In a video, anything creates a meaning, anything, the way I speak, the way I move, the way, the direction I look at, the way I'm dressed up, and so on and so forth. So let us try to remember that, and I would like to invite you, if you have any support material, pictures, slides, so any crops, I would say, anything that can be used in your pitch, please prepare them and think about a referent for each group. So in order for this referent to speak before the camera, for example, I'm a person that doesn't like to speak before a camera. So I would like to conclude by saying this is a new situation for me somehow, but not completely, because it's a similar situation of the cinema markets. In the huge cinema festivals, film festivals, there are sessions, market sessions, where a producer, a director, a copywriter tells an audience its ideas or idea in order to present the idea before some colleagues, some producers, in order to meet them, to exchange views with them, to introduce himself or herself and their ideas to the world. So it is a new situation somehow, but not unprecedented when I was very, very young. Thank you, Diego. Thank you.
Who's already been playing with Arduino? Or do you know something about programming with Arduino? Because here we have Luca Cristaldi. Where are you? There he is. When was Arduino invented, Luca? I don't know. I think well, a long time ago. It was invented by Federico Faggin, a friend of mine. He's an engineer. Federico Faggin.
He comes sometimes in Italy. Normally he lives in the United States. Super inventor, and he gave me an Arduino. What do you do with Arduino?
What you do with Arduino?
You do, and what they can do.
Okay.
What they can do.
I'm Luca Cristaldi. I'm from the local art space here in Trieste. So we do hardware stuff, we do software stuff. So we use a lot of microcontroller. One of these is the Arduino board and the Arduino toolchain for different kind of microcontroller board. So Atmega 328P, some D21, aka Arduino 1, Arduino 2, and the various board like SP32, XP8266 from the Expressive. So I'm very experienced with that. So if you want to create something and you want to learn how to program in C, because this board are programming in C or C++, you can come to me. And I'm by trade, I'm an electronic engineer, so I can help with electronic stuff. So yeah, the mask. Oh, so. Oh, okay. Maybe they will. Maybe the mic will become better. So I'm from. I will give you my background. So I'm a digital design. I design stuff at electricity controlling. No, it might wake up.
What kind of support you can give to the teams?
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm interested to that.
I can give you different support, like C++ programming, and set up the Arduino toolchain, or the platform stuff if you don't want to deal with the Arduino. Other stuff I can help you is integrating microcontroller with ERP systems like Triton. Triton is an open source ERP system, and the New Health is based on Triton. If you need help to set up the toolchain, the programming style, if it is programming Python, so easy to program it. I create a custom application, custom widget with the integrated with this ERP if you want.
Don't tell everything. You are available. You will sleep.
Yeah.
Sunday night, not tonight.
I'll try to sleep.
No. You must be available.
My body needs to sleep.
Let's keep it.
Help me.
Let's keep it in chain. Thank you. Thank you. Grazie, Luca. Elena, already you told us experience and whatsoever, but how you can help, how you will help the teams. No, the help is this afternoon and tonight and tomorrow, but now you can, let's say, send some aperitif to them, some pills of the help.
Well,
Thank you very much. Well, so you know me already, but I think I will try to help in a kind of different way, connected to my background, which is more European background, since I'm working for the Veneto region Brussels office and also connected to the Veneto region. So what I think I will try to do, I will give you a couple of slides with some ideas and then come to the concrete proposals, and then you will see how to do it. So perhaps first advice would be to have your project integrated in a global context. So I said in the slide, going from global to local and from local to global. Someone said, do not do something for us without us. So keep the concept of circular economy, of circularity, and think in a wide way. Thinking, for instance, there was some presentation already this morning mentioning the Sustainable Development Goals, the decade of healthy aging. We did not speak about Next Generation EU, the European Pillar of Social Rights. I will mention these three things because, in the Sustainable Development Goals, go to goal number 3, which is connecting to health and to better life. There is also one goal connected to inclusive cities and sustainable communities. So your idea of project could be connected to the priorities at global level. The same goes for the decade of healthy aging, and Next Generation EU is the program built now to give the best possible, to build together the best possible opportunity for the young generation and for the future generation. So raise your hand, raise your voice through these different projects. So how can I possibly help at local level? Through this Veneto regional law, through the regional 3-year plan, through the law of Friuli Venezia Giulia around loneliness. We have a series of projects. We have these 142 projects, and within these projects, according to the different themes, I brought you some examples, and perhaps you could look at these examples to get inspiration within the different lines. So perhaps I just go to one slide which shows, sorry, it's here, I forgot. Yes, just to remember about the guidelines on which we were working that are connected to loneliness and to the fight against loneliness. So we have independent living, active participation, and lifelong learning. I would just also recommend, take and grasp the idea, because we're here in an intergenerational context where we are, I feel concerned by the target group, so doing together with you about me and about us. But think as persons, as resources, resources in terms of knowledge, experience for the community, but also as learners from you, from your ideas. So these you will see, I would just like to mention within the guidelines that think also about COVID-19, post-COVID-19, and all the forms of fragilities and new vulnerabilities that arise after the pandemic. Think about I'm a woman, but think about the gender aspect, because we live longer and often are found ourselves without resources and without with a divorce or completely in a state of abandon. And there was this morning your representative from the family field. And I think that the families played a key role during the pandemic, the support from the families. So do not forget families and communities. So I will not go through all the aspects because you can find them in the slides, but I just want to, well, perhaps mention some of the big challenges that we came upon in the Veneto region, and we saw that indeed public administration can become an agent of change, but it needs to combine civic, community, and public resources with community welfare, meaning that the citizen is not the target of care and cure, but plays an active role in the policies of the community. And another challenge that we faced a lot, and perhaps you can address in some of the projects, are related to neighborhood and solidarity and relationships. So be included to have integrated approaches in the community. And finally, I want to suggest you two things, two concrete proposals. One proposal is related to what we have done, the proposals of projects that are have been implemented and developed by the local actors in the region, and to see if you can come up with the proposal and join your proposal with what we have done. Second thing is, well, we have Heinrad here in the audience, and he's a great source of value, like his project Value Care at European and international level. So let's bring the ideas of the project within the platform of Value Care. So that could be really a good initiative. So take the opportunities that you have when you have them. And so these people are here today, so it's good. And you will see, the last thing that I will say, that there are two European networks, the European Network of Social Authorities, ENSA, where you have 4 working groups, not only one about elderly care, but one about youth and family, one about disabilities, one about child issues, and a transversal one on social inclusion. So you have another platform for exchange. And the last network I would like to mention for the successful project that you will decide, we work with the Council of Europe, and specifically with one committee on health and a sanitary crisis, the reaction against after the pandemic. And so the result of what you have done could go to this platform as an exchange or an example of practices. So this is, well, what I will try to do to support you. So I wish you the very best. You're the brain, and it has been a great opportunity for me to be here today. So thanks very much, Franco, Eva, and Diego for this invitation.
Grazie, Elena. Grazie Elena, non ti lasceremo, we will not let you alone, not because of the subject of the hackathon, but because we need you, your expertise and your focus. Matteo, dove sei? Matteo Apuzzo, eccolo lì, un curriculum nell'ambito della social inclusion, dell'ambito of assisted living. Da quanto tempo vi conosci e vi supporti?
In social inclusion, we've been known each other for 15 years.
15 years that sometimes we stay together. The question is how we can help them and how we can take profit of their creativity.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. My background, I am a sociologist. Sometimes you can ask what kind of help a sociologist can give you. And my personal experience, I think, can be an added values in terms of involvement of end users. That is a key point when you build up innovation and deploy innovation. And the other point is that I'm quite skilled in helping regional health system as a network of multi-professional and multi-stakeholders actors in a local context. I think that the next, it's me, okay. The domain where I can give you and help or support is, they are synthesized in these slides, but there is a lot of things that you already heard this morning, and I don't want to repeat what Elena just said, but it's just to understand that when you think to your innovation, you have to think to the system where the innovation will be applied. And when you think to the system, it's not just ICT or business system, but it is also a service system. So the organization of the service where your innovation will be implemented and the actors involved in the service. And when you think to social and healthcare services, you have to think where you really want to focus on. So community-based, home care, telemedicine, and you have this kind of domain that you can touch and think of. Next slide. And just to go further what Elena was saying, in Friuli Venezia Giulia, I've been working a lot as a project manager. I am a sociologist. My soul is of a researcher. My job is a project manager of EU-funded project. And for example, I was the European coordinator of one of the biggest projects on telemedicine, and that was 23 regions deploying telemedicine in their context. And in this slide, you find it's really written very small. You can find on the left side what has been implemented so far in the Friuli Venezia Giulia region, starting from a low innovation many years ago. But they already push people in the region to develop projects with this multi-stakeholder approach, with domotic solution for mobility, and was both for, it was in general for vulnerable people, but both for aging population, but also for people with disabilities and so on. Then we have this law, very important law on active and healthy aging and isolation. You already heard about that. We have this Argo system, and it is this coordination system of innovation for a regional ecosystem. But we have already experimented some projects on ICT applied to social and healthcare. This was SmartCare, this was HealthNet, that was trying to have people staying at home as long as possible with monitoring, telemonitoring solution, and self-empowerment solution. And for example, we have another project that is very important because it's also one of the points where you can apply your solution, that is this figure, and this is to strengthen continuity of care between hospital and territorial care in a regional context. On the right side is where you can think your innovation can be applied, and this is the support that maybe I can give you. And it's very small also for me. One of the main goals of the regional system is to avoid hospitalization of people, as I said. So to maintain people at home, and it is, on the right side, perfect, thank you. and the other point is when you think to an innovation, you have to think really carefully to the target group. So who is the person that is going to use your innovation? So personalized care, thinking to the right target group is very important. This is an example. You can deploy telemedicine, you can think to a larger population, but when you have one solution, one device of a group of device, you have to think to your target group very specifically. And in case, for example, patient with chronic disease in a post-acute phase that is different of general population, telemedicine for general population. Another point is that you can have a solution that help professionals, not the patient. So the role of the professionals in the services, how you can help them, what solution can need, and also how you can build multi-professional teams working together through ICT solution. Going on, of course, a solution that can be usable for the patients, user-friendly, that help them not just to care themselves, but also, for example, to assess their data, to know better, so to improve what we call health literacy and ICT literacy, so digital health literacy. This can be a solution. Better communication. One of the main important points is how to improve communication on a distance mode between doctors, nurses, so health professionals, and the patients. So different hubs that can help the communication and so on. Okay, another could be governance and coordination. And finally, the last point, and it is the last slide that I would like to stress to give you a suggestion, is think to the service. So I am also an evaluator of the AAL program, and Marco today explained you the program. And when you evaluate a project in a Yale program, you have different points like impact on quality of life, impact on business, impact on market. But one of the main points is impact on the service. So maybe one suggestion from the very beginning is when you start working and when you start thinking to your solution, start writing the real life scenarios. So I have this solution. Who is going to use this solution? When this person will use this solution, who will be around this person? Who will be the professionals, network professional, and how do you react for the use of this? So really write the real life scenarios. Why? Because technology is not a medicine. Technology is not a medicine that you prescribe. Okay, please take this telemedicine and you will be right. No, you will be no better if there is no service network, an organization of the service. And believe me, technology, when you have innovation, technology is not the issue. Technology is there. Technology more or less works. But the organization around the people that will be used the technologies is more important. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. A question for Matteo. Do you believe in the help of technology? Yeah. Okay, he believes. And the last mentor is in help. Prego, Fabrizio. Somebody of you enjoyed Oculus? Okay, we have Oculus because it's a last candy. If you want to impressive, eventually, Elena, did you try it? No, okay. So Elena tomorrow will be the beloved judge that will be inspired by virtual reality, and you are super young, but with this you can be a kid. This is the kind of experience. Prego Fabrizio, dai che ci divertiamo.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And I introduce myself, I am Fabrizio Ciorino, I am an immersive technologist. So it was not so easy to
say it again, what kind of job you do it? Immersive technologist. What's that?
It's not a real job. So I try to find one way to describe all the things that I am doing in just one word, one job. So it's not like I am an engineer. No, it's not like this. So it's a new job that I am building with
It's virtual. It's virtual. I cannot
Yes,
hit
yes.
you.
It's I'm here, but I'm also in other sites, as my actual job are saying, because I work in different organizations for doing more or less the same stuff with the immersive experience, but applying it in different way. So immersive technologies is basically the a mix of the different virtual realities that we have, that could be augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, and the basis of these are the 3D modeling that are the most important element to build this kind of experience. So to wrap up all of these different technology, we say immersive. So I will explain a little bit what I'm doing for my job. So I'm from...
How you can add them tonight?
Directly, straight on the point. So I would like to introduce a little bit my technology, because someone could don't know it. So okay, so this is my background. What I am doing, I work in digital transformation for Area Science Park that was already introduced, and the project of industry platform for FVG, especially in the field of manufacturing, in the Lean Experience Factory in Pordenone. We try to implement this kind of technology in the productive process of a factory, of offices. So we are experimenting immersive technology in different parts of the value chains of one enterprise. So going forward, what is this immersive technology field? Is a various field, but it could be resumed in three main aspects that are the augmented reality. This when we are seeing the reality and we are experimenting one digital layer on top of it that is linked to one of these of the object of the reality. Then we have the mixed reality, that is one fully mixed experience where the digital content is interacting with everything around you, and the virtual reality is very known. It happens when everything that you see in wearing one headset is fully virtual, so you don't see anything from your real environment. So these are the main field that are all immersive, but different kind of immersive. So going forward, let's go through very quick. The augmented reality is performed with, let's say, mobile devices, most of all, because it works with smartphone, tablets, some glasses that are pretty new, so they are not well used so far, but as I said before, is linked to one part of your real environment. Could be an image, a shape, plane, a GPS coordinate, and so on. So it's very useful, it's very attractive, it's very cool and easy to develop. I will explain also a little bit that is quite easy also to develop in prototyping way one experience like this. So going forward, this is the mixed reality. So the mixed reality is running on this kind of asset. These are mixed reality headset. In this case is one HoloLens 2 by Microsoft. Are still expensive as a headset, but for now they are experimenting some different way and fields where using it as a health or manufacturing. So where actually people can take advantage from the capability of this headset. This headset, as I said, the capability is that they can interact with the full environment of the user. So it's very powerful. There are a lot of sensors, and there are different ways to apply this kind of technology, and I provide you some example, not in the next, but in the next one. So perfect. We close with the immersive technology field with the virtual reality, that it uses another kind of headset that are this one, for instance, that is a virtual reality headset by Oculus. Then provide you a fully virtual experience, so you can experiment, you can build something that are not, you can replicate the reality, or you can imagine a new reality, a new kind of interaction with this headset. The interaction is a very important part because, for instance, in the image that you are seeing right now, the interaction is performed by the controller on your hands, but this kind of headset has the capability to track your hands, so the controller are not useful anymore, just for some kind of headset that are widely used. Like the one in the photo is the HTC Vive, is very, very well used. But the frontiers are now to interact with the virtual object without touching anything. So this is very interesting and very also useful, for instance, in this field that we are approaching today, because is easier to just move your hands and doing something than deal with one electronic gadget that you have to move it and touching and pressing a button. So this is the evolution of this kind of technology. So let's see some of use cases where I can help these guys.
Stop it, because I have a question for Elena and Matteo. Matteo, dove sei? Elena. No, you both. Do you have an idea how to use this technology for fragile or isolated people? Okay, eventually you need some calories. So think about, because this can be the inspiration for the guys, because this technology has a lot of application that eventually. Exactly. Daniele, grazie, applauso enorme al Fabrizio.
Thank you.
I picked it up yesterday night and I told him, please come, that I need you. Daniele, ciao. You have to introduce yourself as a mentor. You disappeared. Now you are back. Keep in mind that your speech divide all guys from food. So you can also say.
I am Daniele. I have two hats here. I am the colleague of Franco, and I am proudly working as a researcher at the UNM Research Institute of Research and Development in Graz, in Austria, in the field of additive manufacturing. And that's it. Any question in this field, we will speak later. Have a nice meal.
Thank you. So, Elena, break, right? Eva, what do you do now? I drove too much tonight. NH, we have the food.
Now we have concluded the introductory part, and all the composition team and the mentors have been presented basically, so we can move and we can have lunch. So please, I'd like to thank all the online attendances of today's meeting, because of course there are people in presence, but of course there are people that are attending online. And yes, so thank you very much for the participation, and we will have further times to work on these ideas, solution, and everything. And all the teams, the 10 teams, will be supported by the mentor. So thank you very much. And let's create and let's make it started, all these hackathon, finally. So we need to coming back at 3 p.m. So basically we have enough time to have lunch and same point, same location, and we will start to work on the idea. Thank you very much.